We're finally getting to the point where we can discuss the game mechanics in a bit more depth. One of the most interesting things for me was to hear that both casual players and hardcore community is enjoying the game. Why do you think that is?
Well, actually, besides the fact the game has super easy rules that you can learn in 2 minutes and start playing, I think the mechanically speaking, the interesting fact is that there's an interesting learning process how you discover new strategies in the game. You're perfectly fine to start playing just like that, but over the time, over the course of game sessions with Project L, you still have plenty to discover. And from what we saw on playtesting sessions, the most common starting position when you enter the universe of Project L, the players tend to focus mainly on white puzzles, the easier one. Just taking them, completing them and scoring points for them, that's perfectly fine. And later, once the players pass this beginner step, and it's mostly 1 or 2 games, they try to understand or to start using the master action properly, efficiently, and that's actually where the engine building process starts, because the master action is, essentially speaking, that's the core of the engine builder. That's the engine builder. And once they master the master action, they're starting to score points to really inflate their pool of pieces and be able to grab a lot of puzzles and score a lot of victory points.
But that's not where it ends, though. It goes a bit deeper, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure. It goes a lot deeper. We focus during the game design process to put a mechanical conflict. They are forced to make a decision when, during the game, to switch from white to black puzzles. Because once you start playing, let's say, competitively, you notice that you need to switch your focus from white to black puzzles as soon as it's reasonable. And that's actually the tricky part, the point when it's reasonable. Because when you start a game, you have just a mediocre supply of pieces. And you just can't jump on the greatest the most difficult black puzzles, because it's just game over. So you first need to build your engine, and that's where the white puzzles are good for, and then switch for the black. As I said, it's tricky because if you do it too early, you will probably run out of steam. But if you do it too late, probably other players will exploit their engines before you, and they will win. So that's important. Strategically speaking, it's important point of the game, and the more you play Project L, the more nuances you're able to see in the actual process of developing your strategy or engine builder.
Mm-hmm. But there's a ratio, it seems, of white to black cards that seems to be most profitable for the player, isn't there?
Yeah, we actually, that's true. We observed during playtest sessions that there's the most often the base game ends and the victor's pool of completed puzzles consists either of 7 white to 3 blacks or 6 white to 4 blacks. So that might be a small, hint when to switch, but after all, it's always about the actual situation on the board and how efficient you are with reacting on the market. What's available? What's your pieces you already received or you already earned, and there's no easy answer where to do the switch, but it's an integral part of the mechanics. We intentionally designed a formula that favors the more difficult puzzles over the easier one, just because it's the next step how to master the game, to be able to locate the exact point and exploit it when it does make sense.
For instance, here we see a situation with a singular puzzle and the and various combination of level 4 pieces. Is that right? Are they all equal? Would you rate them as equal?
Yeah, well, actually, once you get familiar with Project L, you will probably notice that, for example, the T shapes work well with the Z shapes. But again, it's really dependent on what the situation on the board is. So if plenty of players will, let's say, focus their effort to get T shapes, then it might be better to go for squares, let's say, because you can exploit it just because it's under the radar. But besides that, I would say it's more like about what you can imagine with the set of pieces you have, how you can project your strategy geometrically onto the shape of the puzzle. Because as you can see here, this is just very few examples how this 5 victory point black puzzle could be completed. It's not the whole amount of possibilities. Just a few. So you can see it's totally you can use squares, you can use the L's, you can use combinations. Up to you.
Up until this point, we were talking about just the base game, though. Like, what does Finesse add to this experience, to these possibilities?
Yeah, the Finesse brings an interesting take on the engine or the universe of how Project L plays, and it's because of the fact that in Finesse you're able to trade your efficiency for the time. In other words, you have the option to follow suboptimal moves, just doing something that's not 100% optimal, but you at the same time are rewarded with the coins, with the credits, and later in the game you can spend the coins, the credits, to get an extra actions, e.g. to play more. And if you could monetize the credits at the time when it does matter, you could score even more points than you, let's say, lost or not earned just by following the suboptimal strategies. Okay. And that's it.
Thank you.